and nutritional value of sesame seed project. Diabetic patients appeal for drugs to be covered by NHIS. And French police hunt attack suspect. Hello, good evening, and many thanks for joining us. This is the news coming to you live on your news channel GBC24 and GTV. My name is Akpene Avo Ajaja. Sesame seed is one of the oldest oil seed crops known, domesticated well over 3,000 years ago. It is a good source of antioxidants and dietary fiber, which help to keep the body healthy. If cultivated as a priority in the country's agriculture development agenda, it can provide good nutrition for Ghanaians. Sesame in many parts of Africa may be processed into oil, powder and paste for cooking. This came up during a field day celebration organized by the SNV, a Dutch NGO in the West Mamprusi district.
Sesame seeds are tiny, flat oval seeds with a nutty taste and a delicate, almost invisible crunch. They come in a host of different colors depending upon the variety, including white, yellow, black and red. Sesame seeds are highly valued for their high content of sesame oil, an oil that is very resistant to acidity. Not only are sesame seeds an excellent source of copper and a very good source of manganese, but they are also a good source of calcium, magnesium, iron, phosphorus, vitamin B1, zinc, and dietary fiber. At the field day celebration organized by the SNV, a Dutch NGO at Zanguzvuga in the West Mamprusi district, the benefits of sesame seeds were showcased. The about 100 women farmers who are cultivating the 200 acres of sesame celebrated the event. The SNV, through its interventions to empower the deprived women in the area, have so far supported the women with about 30,000 Ghana cedis this year to cultivate sesame. The UDS GAP training consultant Abdul Hakim Abubakar, who trained the farmers in sesame cultivation, gave the nutritional value of the crop as one that has antioxidants which prevent aging and is vital for the production of liver cells.
Besides the nutritional benefits, sesame is a very good cash crop, and it provides opportunities for many smallholder farmers, especially women, to improve on their income levels.
The project manager of the SNV Sesame Project, Isahaku Zakaria, said poverty in the Zanguvuga farming community is high. The community therefore needs a sesame crop which is multi-purpose to help prevent diseases.
To the Central Region now, where speakers and presiding officers of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association Africa Region have identified with a unique traditional governance system of the Central Region, which performs similar functions as the legislature. The visit was to afford the speakers who have come from other countries in Africa the opportunity to see and have a feel of Ghana's culture and tradition.
Biannually, speakers and presiding officers across the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association meet to share knowledge and promote understanding of parliamentary practices. They hope to develop parliamentary institutions on the continent through regular engagement and exchange programs. Ghana hosted the 15th edition of the conference, which saw delegates from other African countries attending. The three-day conference was on the theme, Raising the Confidence of the Citizen in the Legislature, the Role of the Speaker. As part of the conference, the Central Regional House of Chiefs held a deba for the speakers and presiding officers in Cape Coast. Before this, they had visited historical sites in the regional capital and the Asin Manso slave market. Among the places they went were the slave castles at Cape Coast and Elmina. Here, They got to know the actual story behind slavery on the shores of the sub-region. They were treated to some cultural displays and performances by the various Asafo companies. Addressing the gathering, the president of the Central Regional House of Chiefs, Dasibre Kwebuewusi, urged the various African parliaments to hold on to the principles of accountability, transparency, and the development in the interest of the ordinary citizen. The Central Regional Minister, Aquinas Tewia Kwanzaa, commended traditional rulers in the country for their immense role in support for policies and programs of successive governments. The first Deputy Speaker of Parliament and Member of Parliament for Cape Coast North, Mr. Eboba Tinodro, touched on some activities of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, CPA.
The visit is to afford our distinguished speakers who have come from other countries in the Commonwealth in Africa the opportunity to have a feel of Ghana's cultural heritage and traditions. Long before the coming of the Europeans, the chieftaincy institution had been the embodiment of the people that conduct the affairs of communities.
The Speaker of the Ugandan Parliament, Rebecca Kadaga, who spoke on behalf of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, was full of praise for the country's first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, adding that his dream of a united Africa could have been achieved if he had stayed a bit longer. The visiting delegation was later presented with a kente cloth by the Regional House of Chiefs and Regional Coordinating Council.
Joined the rest of the world to mark World Diabetes Day 2015 with an appeal to the government to allow diabetic patients access drugs under the National Health Insurance Scheme, NHIS. Currently, only persons aged 1 to 26 are covered by the NHIS to have access to insulin for treating and managing diabetes. The day was also used to create awareness for more public education on the disease.
Diabetes is a chronic or lifelong disease which is characterized by abnormally high levels of blood glucose in the blood due to problems with a hormone called insulin. Globally, there are two main types of diabetes, type 1 and type 2. In sub-Saharan Africa, over 50 million people are living with diabetes, with the figure expected to double over the next 20 years. In Ghana, diabetes is one of the top non-communicable diseases. According to the Ghana Health Service, the number of young persons who are being diagnosed with diabetes has been on the increase, with quite a number of them either developing complications or dying from complications that are poorly managed. Speaking on the main causes of diabetes, a physician specialist, Dr. Samuel Asumeni Yeboah, explained that individual lifestyles largely contribute to diabetes. He advised diabetic patients and non-diabetics to regularly go for medical checkup and be mindful of eating healthy food always.
Diabetes is a treatment that can be controlled and managed well. Most people come in asking questions about, can it be cured? And when you tell them they cannot be cured, they go elsewhere and they are told, oh, wait a minute, I can give you this and that and it will cure your diabetes, which invariably that is not the case. So they stop taking their regular medications and then down the line we end up with a lot of problems.
This year's World Diabetes Day was held under the theme Healthy Eating and Diabetes. Some diabetes patients willingly shared their success stories.
I got scared because growing up, I heard it was just adults that had diabetes, that getting diabetes. But then I've grown out of that fear, joining GBC24 and motivated me and urged me to keep taking my drug.
The Executive Director of the Diabetes Youth Care, Dr. Nanama Burns, spoke on the need for families of diabetic people to show love, support and care for them.
The Church of Pentecost has organized the first ever Rastafarian gathering at Gomoa Fete in the Central Region in a bid to introduce them to the Word of God. At the ceremony, the Rastafarians lamented about the perception that people have about them. They said they are not drug addicts, but decent members of society. This initiative forms part of the church's vision for the unchanging needs of man in a changing world. Peggy Amadonko reports.
At the mention of the word Rastafari, the picture that quickly flashes through the mind is men with dreadlocks smoking ganja associated with Bob Marley. But here, make no mistake, this is not any regular church service. Rather, a gathering of Rastafari at Gomwa Fete in the central region. The gathering, the first of its kind, is a 2-day conference organized by the Evangelism Ministry of the Church of Pentecost. Participants were drawn from across the country.
Don't look at him only from the outside and criticize him. Let him come. If Jesus was here, he would receive him. And then the rest is for God to deal with the person.
In Ghana, the Rastafari are mostly found along the coastal areas, with a few of them across the country. Johnny Nash Lai is the organizer of the Rastafari Council of Ghana.
We have almost 16 mansions in Accra. And it's the representatives that have come to form the executives of the council.
Some people claim to be Rastafari just as an excuse to do drugs, yet there are many of them who have never done drugs before.
Some people, the moment they see you with the dreadlocks, they think you are a weed smoker and you are riff-raff. But let me tell you what, sister, it's not like that.
It is expected that all will embrace people of all creeds, especially the marginalized and neglected, who the Rastafari fall within. Peggy Amadonko for Ghana Television.
The Rotary Club of Ontario in Canada has provided a 50 million cedi support to 6 communities and a school at Asempaneye in the Asin North District of the Central Region. The support includes the construction and renovation of school facilities.
This is the third time that the Rotary Club of Essex, Ontario in Canada has come to the aid of communities in the Asin North District. The 22 Rotarians gave the Asempaneye Primary JHS 50 desks, 100 pieces of school uniform, drugs and some stationery. Other items included shoes, 1,000 mosquito nets and washable sanitary pads for the girls. Club blocks funded by the club were also inaugurated. 3 other such blocks were also outdoored. These were built by the Pro-Vice-Chancellor of the University of Education, Winneba, Reverend Father Professor Aful Bruni. The leader of the Rotary Club of Essex, Ontario, Madame Keynes Pirot, said they were touched to come and help alleviate human suffering in Ghana. They came through the influence of a Ghanaian, the parish priest of the St. John the Baptist Catholic Church at Asin Briku, Reverend Father Stephen Amwa GC.
On the international front, several children were on board when a high-speed train derailed during a test run in France, killing 11 people. 5 people are still missing and more than 30 were injured in the TGV crash near the eastern city of Strasbourg. Investigators are trying to determine who the children are and why they were on board when access was meant to be restricted to technicians. It is not clear whether children were among the dead. Rail company SNCF said it was possible that railway workers' children were on board when the train crashed, reportedly at around 350 kilometers per hour. Excessive speed has been blamed for the crash, the first fatal accident since TGV trains began operating in 1981. The train ended up partially submerged in a canal under a bridge. French officials say they are looking for a suspect in the Paris attacks who may have managed to escape. They have issued a warrant with a picture of a 26-year-old man identified as Abdesalam Salah. 7 attackers, 2 of them residents of Belgium, died during the assault on Friday. France's Interior Minister said investigations would show the attacks were prepared abroad by a group of individuals based in Belgium. He said the group benefited from accomplices in France. The discovery of a suspected getaway car in Paris on Sunday fueled suspicion that at least one suspect may have gotten away. French police appealed for information about a Belgium-born Abdusalam Salah in connection with the Paris attack. They described him as dangerous and warned people not to approach him. France is marking 3 days of national mourning for the 129 people who were killed in the attacks. Meanwhile, French judicial sources say several rifles have been found in an abandoned car believed to have been used by some of the Paris attackers. The Black Seeds car was found in eastern Paris on Sunday, suggesting some of the attackers got away. Earlier, the first of the 7 dead attackers was named as Ismail Mustafa. Prosecutors said 6 people close to him are in custody. 2 attackers were French nationals living in Belgium. France is marking 3 days of mourning for the victims. The Prime Minister said most of the bodies had been identified and that the process should be completed in the coming hours. A special service for the victims, including 350 people wounded and other survivors, is being held. In the art segment, in order to inculcate the habit of eating traditional Ghanaian foods, members of the Bema Camp Arakan Methodist Presbyterian Church have organized a food bazaar. This was to remind Christians of their cultural foods, which are nutritious.
At the food bazaar, all members of the church portrayed Ghanaian culture through local dishes and apparels like the rich kente cloth and smock. There were tents for all 10 regions of the country and food from all the regions were showcased. Foods like yam fufu with rere soup, ampesie, rice and stew, asana, a local drink, and banku with tilapia, among others, were placed in the tents. The former chief Army staff, who is also the immediate past ambassador to Namibia, Major General Seth Enum Odote, said it has been a success.
The idea is to make Christianity relevant to their Ghanaian culture. We think Christianity is foreign to us, but that is not. We are adapting Christianity to the Ghanaian culture. You know, culture is a total way of life of the people. And the people of this country should live their Christian lives within the cultural confines of the country.
Members were further urged to portray the Ghanaian culture by dressing up in traditional way to church always.
Thank you so much for staying on for the news. We'll be back at 10:30 with the late edition. But coming up shortly is Talking Point, and we are discussing the 2016 budget statement. Many thanks for watching.